And we are live. Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of Jason Hebert Live. It's been quite a while. I apologize. We have had a lot of personal things going on and business things, so I have not been able to keep up with my schedule. Just know that we are working to getting back to our nightly interviews, or at the very least, 4 or 5 a week, something like that. So this lull in content won't be going on for too much longer. If you're not familiar with the channel, we interview the loved ones of missing persons and unsolved crimes in an effort to help spread awareness and try to bring justice to the loved ones of missing persons and unsolved homicide victims and the like. So if that's something that you are into and you think you would enjoy trying to help these families who desperately need your help because they're going through one of the worst times of their life, our show is interactive, as you can see by the chat on the side. So maybe you've been watching a case for years and you've always had questions, or maybe it's a brand new case that you're just hearing about now and questions are popping up. The show is interactive. You can ask questions via the chat and you get the story directly from the horse's mouth. A lot of shows on platforms like this are kind of somebody telling you a third party version of it, that they're reading a news article and then repeating it to you. With this show, we get it directly from the horse's mouth. We bring on the loved ones, the family, usually the family, sometimes the best friend, or once in a while to be an advocate of the missing person. Bring them on and get the story directly from them, and you can ask your questions to them. So if you would like to help out and you think that that's the kind of content for you, click subscribe below and set the notification bell to all. And we appreciate having you around and having you help. Just remember, everybody that's on this show is dealing with a lot. So any help that you can provide, even if it's just watching the show and keeping an eye out, helping spread flyers online, whatever you can do, would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Now, I want to bring something to your attention. I will be doing this all week. If you go into the description, you're going to see all relevant links, the description right under the video. So when I say relevant links, I mean the Facebook profile of the guests so that you can speak to them or give them tips or anything like that, as well as the page for my channel, all different things, ways to contact me. You'll see all that there. But at the top for this week, at least this week, you're going to see a GoFundMe. It's for Tabitha Maddox. Now, she is a longtime viewer of our show. And as you see here, you should be able to see my screen. I just want to go over this quickly. So welcome to Tabitha's Brave Journey. Thanks to Annie Ferguson, who set this up for Tabitha. Tabitha is a longtime viewer and supporter of the channel. She's on, if you watch any true crime channels on YouTube, she's pretty much there. She's all over the place, extremely supportive of everyone who makes this type of content, always in the chats and being supportive of the channels. Because of a doctor mishap, she got an infection in her leg, and as of today, she has had to have her leg amputated. The surgery was just today. So I'm trying to help her, like she has helped us so much, by spreading her GoFundMe. Again, it's at the top of the description, so we can read it real quick. It says, hello, my name is Annie Ferguson. Thank you for taking this time to read about a beautiful and sweet woman named Tabitha Maddox. I want to tell you a story about this brave young woman and what she has been living with for some time now. Tabitha's been fighting with her right lower leg and foot for a long while. She has had 6 surgeries, and with the last one, the doctor let her know that she now has a rare bone infection called osteomyelitis. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. This infection, if not corrected, can be fatal. So with that information at hand, Tabitha realized she has no choice. The specialist wants to immediately amputate her lower leg, but she is not ready emotionally to handle this news and begs them to give her some time. So they gave her a month longer, which is June 8th, which of course is today. This was written a month ago. The doctor told her that's all the time they can give her. So as of today, as of right this minute, guys, the surgery has been done. And she's told me that she's not doing so good already. So that's the basis. If you go to the link in the description, as you can see, there's more here. I don't want, it's quite a lot of information. So I will let you guys read it yourself so you can make your decision. But as of so far, they have an $8,000 goal. $1,760 has been raised. So please, if you can help Tabitha, it would be greatly appreciated. Great person who has helped many. She's always in these chats trying to help others. And please just consider it. If you were going to make any donations to the channel, don't. Anything that you were going to donate to the channel, please give to Tabitha. Again, obviously, not everyone can, so there is no obligation to. But these are just for the people who would like to and were planning to. Anything you were planning to donate, would please go to her. And thank you. And we will be doing that weekly. Now, tonight is the case of Nathan Wayne Smith. There's not a ton of information on this case. I know a lot of you, we've talked about it in some of the morning shows, and some of you have went looking for information to kind of prepare for the case, and you said the same thing. You couldn't find anything. And I talked to the family beforehand. There's not much out there. Even what they know, a lot of it is speculation. So a lot of the things that we talk about with the family, we have the mother, Lavonne, on, and his sister, Yolanda, today. So even a lot of what they talk about, they'll inform you of this, but it's not all set in stone. A lot of it's just hearsay. A lot of times in these situations, the families are just trying to piece together information and figure out what they do know. So all things mentioned, there are no hard accusations made. Everything is alleged. So if a name's brought up, if your name's brought up, somebody you know, and something is said that you're not 100% happy with, just know there are no accusations, all right? It's just piecing things together and everything is alleged. Okay, so I will bring on Yolanda and Lavonne, who is the mother and sister of Nathan. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. I want to thank you for having the strength to come on today. I always say I do this type of thing constantly, but it's a total different thing sitting in my chair versus sitting in yours. So I just thank you for having the strength to do this, and I'm so sorry for what you guys are going through. Just know that you're not alone. You have, me, my team, everybody in the chat. We're all here to help. So let's try to bring Nathan home, and thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and getting our story out there.
Yes.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is, as you guys get started, I'm going to go over some pictures of Nathan, just so people can kind of keep an eye out. We'll be doing that multiple times throughout the broadcast. As I do that, do you want to start? I think Yolanda is going to start. You said, you want to just tell us a little bit about who Nathan was kind of in general, and then you can lead us into the weeks leading up to his disappearance?
Well, he's a great guy. He was struggling with drugs really bad. And he was doing real well and graduated drug court a few years back. But him and his girlfriend broke up, and he just went downhill. He got another girlfriend, and she lived in Nevada, and they were doing real good. But he was still struggling with the drugs, and I don't know if he got caught up. I don't know.
And I did forget to mention, this is from Tecumseh, Oklahoma. I apologize.
Yes.
Sorry about this.
By Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Yeah, just like a little town outside Shawnee. But the 22nd was the last time I seen him. But I know that he had been in my house on the 26th and ate and took a shower. And I had called him and told him, you can't come around here anymore as long as you're doing that stuff. I don't want you around, or I'll call the cops. Well, then allegedly, I went and put a missing person out report on him. His girlfriend came down from Nevada on February 13th. We kind of waited because they had plans to go to the Oklahoma City, had a nice dinner, a motel room. It was all set up, and he would never miss that. Well, he never showed up Valentine's Day. So the 15th, we went and reported him missing. And when I reported him missing, the officer said, well, we might have a reason why he hasn't contacted you. We have his phone. There was a high-speed chase in the stolen truck. And so I looked at the phone and I said, that's not his phone. I just got him a phone 5 days ago, before he came up missing. So it wasn't his phone. But they couldn't dry it out it was in the truck and the high-speed chase. And I'm going to let her talk. Because I get all...
So leading up to his disappearance, and just kind of give a timeline of what we do know. Like my mom said, she physically saw him January 22nd. January 26th, she knew he had been in the house, took a shower, and ate.
Of 2020 last year.
Of 2020, yes. The last time he spoke to his girlfriend in Nevada, it was that Friday. So, which I believe is the 24th. Then no communication. Everything was gone. So when she went to the police station to file the missing report, they showed her, hey, we know why he's not answering the phone. We have his phone. He was in a high-speed chase.
Why did they think that was him and that was his phone? Just because someone said that they thought that was him, so they assumed that's his phone?
So now, mind you, there's a there's almost a 2-week gap. There's a 2-week gap here from when this high speed chase took on to when my mom went to the cops. So this was on the news and everything. We had no idea about a stolen truck and it being wrecked and everything in Tecumseh or in Shawnee. And they said, my mom said, well, how do you know that was Nathan? And they said, because we've been told. And so,
do you know who gave that information?
It was people that were, from my understanding, it was people that were in jail trying to get out.
The least dependable.
Or JR, the chief of police of Tecumseh, had told me that some people have came in and told them the story when we put out the missing person report and come and told them this stuff, that he had stolen the truck with this, and this guy that he was with admitted to stealing the truck with Nathan. But there's no proof. I mean, and I said, why would he admit to stealing a truck with him if he didn't have something else for later on to hold up? You know what I mean?
To help him get out of jail.
I mean, who would admit they stole a truck? That's a felony. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he's a known drug addict, the one that come forward. And I'm baffled how they come up with this stuff.
There was no evidence. There's been no evidence that my brother was ever in that truck. So
you're leaning towards that wasn't him, or are you 50-50 on it? You just don't know?
We just don't know. I mean, there's a possibility it could have been, and but there's, again, no real evidence that was him. His phone records, they pinged in Tecumseh, Shawnee area, and then his last phone call was made about 6:02 a.m., I believe. Don't mark me on the exact times. And then the high-speed pursuit, I think, happened at like 6:48. So that's when all communication stopped with my brother, or at least on his phone, and nobody heard from him again. No, there's been no phone calls. There's been no text messages, no social media to anyone after that last call at 6:00.
I mean, just nothing. Nothing.
Something in the morning.
And he was very active in his Facebook and stuff. Very.
And have you talked to all his friends on Facebook? Sure, I tried. Did you say you have access to his account?
Yeah.
Yes, we did get access.
Okay, that doesn't lead anywhere.
It didn't. It led. I mean, the timeline helps with the messages and possibly him being in the truck. Yes, OSBI. Sorry, I seen that. OSBI has picked it up. Yes. The reason that they have picked it up, that's what I was going to get into, is these same people that said that Nathan stole the truck and they were with him also came forward to the police and said that they heard or seen a text message that Nathan was killed. So that's when OSBI came in. And come to find out, when OSBI got into it, there's been no real hard evidence on that either, because they couldn't remember if it even said a name, if it was my brother, or what exactly it said. And they factory reset the phone and it deleted everything. So yeah, there's been nothing really credible that he's been killed, that he was in that truck. So we're trying to piece the puzzle together with very little pieces, incredible pieces at that, because again, we just don't have evidence on if that was him in the wreck. And if that was him in the wreck, they did dive and search the water that it was the truck went into, but twice. But there was no search of the woods and the area around it, which we're still trying to get done. It is on tribal land, so we're having to work with agencies to try to get that done.
That can be a lot harder, I think. Getting
and the other thing is like we're sitting here and we're Tecumseh Police Department brought my mom in and told my mom that my brother had been killed.
Well, no, they called me and told me right after I got off work and said, I need you to come in. We got some information. So I went in. And I took my little notebooks, and I'm trying to take notes because everything runs together. And they had the audacity that we were telling me, we're turning it over to the OSPI. And I'm like, why? Do you have blood, a body, a weapon, or what, why? And they told me, no, but it's been said that he was killed. And I'm freaking out, totally freaking out and blowing snot. And I'm asking them, do you got a Kleenex or should I use your sleeve? I mean,
Right.
you know, and then in the middle of it, JR has said,
The chief of police
said, is your son homosexual, bisexual? And it flipped me out. I really lost it then. I'm like, what? And
Why would that be relevant?
the reason why is because this person of alleged interest that he was hanging with is that way, and thought maybe that he was coming on to Nathan, and Nathan freaked out, and I'm like, no, why would you do that to a mother anyway? And then let me drive off from that police station after this kind of news.
Right.
Really?
That was going to be my question. What were the details of if he was killed?
That they've been told, but there was
by tweakers,
by somebody else that was on drugs that is not credible and still did not produce any evidence. And then when the OSBI comes around, it comes out to be that they never should have brought my mom in and said anything.
Yes.
Because with that, I mean, there was no evidence to even back it up to tell my mom that. And so when we got with OSBI, he goes, that I don't even know why they would do that, because not only was there's no evidence on that, but the way that it came out through a text message and then got factory deleted, they didn't even know if it was Nathan, if there was a name on it, or exactly what happened. So it was just a bunch of holes, and again, still no answers. It's again, Elvis is alleged of who he was with last, and who done something to him was a guy named Joey Wilson, and he's been questioned several times.
So what exactly are the details about what Joey's? Can you
because this was alleged that he did it to he's the one who killed my brother.
He was the one that they were at the homosexual story and all that stuff?
Yes, that was him. Okay. Yes.
And then, or had somebody do it because Nathan supposedly stole some drugs from him. And so he had him taken care of. Is what it alleged.
So that's the story, that this Joey part, there was some kind of the homosexual thing. I don't even know why they bring that up. Who cares?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But so the story is, push that off to the side because we don't want to focus on that. The story is that Nathan apparently took some drugs from Joey, and Joey hired someone to kill him.
That's been one of the stories. One of the stories is that Joey killed him. I mean, there's been so many alleged
but it
stories.
Always goes back to the same person.
It always goes back to Joey.
On all these stories, all these rumors and stuff that he was killed when he walked in on Joey raping a 12-year-old boy, and the Joey slit his throat. I mean, all this stuff was texted to me by other people and stories and rumors, and it's horrifying enough without having to hear that about your son.
Right. Lavonne, if you need a moment, you can step off camera. Sorry to interrupt.
It's just been very frustrating because, as you can imagine, to hear stuff like that, it just there's just nothing. We got nothing. We've had no answers. We've had nothing. Interviews and I'm learning that with cases and stuff like this, because I mean, I've never been in a situation like this, that gangs come out of the woodworks like this. There's people just to talk. There's been people to get out of trouble. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. And then, rumors, just all these rumors, and the OSBI, Tecumseh, I don't know how much they followed up. OSBI has been following up, but there's no answers, no evidence, nothing. It's just like, poof, he's gone. And put all that aside, that if let's say he wasn't killed, he could be out in the woods if he was in that crash. Right. And he couldn't have, I mean, they hit a light pole, it rolled and went into an embankment, a big creek. There's a chance that he couldn't have, maybe if he was in that truck, that he didn't survive. And we have not been able to completely search that area, I feel like, to see, if he was running and let's say he was hurt and, It was in the middle of January. It was cold. I think it was 20 something degrees outside. So even if he was wet, I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities, but nothing. We've had no answers.
Search and Rescue we've searched with them several times,
several areas,
and they've done it without us and go and look, and just the surrounding areas where they call body dumps, and it's just I just can't figure out how somebody can just disappear in thin air. It just
there's not much to find online because there's been not much to the case at all.
Right. That's what I was saying in the beginning. I couldn't find anything. And these are the cases I really like to do because I feel like we can maybe this will make a big difference because there's nothing out there. So
I'm because I'm done. I'm tired. I tried to.
I pray we get you answers.
Yeah, I just need
That's what I mean. It's been a long time.
It has been. 499 days today.
Yeah,
and that's from his last phone record. From us talking to him.
If I could bring up a couple things. So Donna Colby is asking. I know you don't know, but she's asking. Are you leaning a certain way as to what may have happened to him? I mean, where are you with it? And I don't know if you know Dawn Cressley, but it seems like she maybe knows you. She's in.
That's Nathan's stepmom.
That's his stepmom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
This is people that she's saying that was living at the house at the time
that Nathan was hanging around at Joey's.
So they've all been questioned. I guess it's been hard. I am going to say Tecumseh Police Department did not handle the case from the get very professionally, I don't think. We were leaning to him being killed because of the police department.
What Tecumseh told me.
But again, there's no evidence. I mean,
but then OSBI is saying, they're doing his best, and he's a great agent. He's been really, really straight up. I told him I don't want anything back. I want the straight up, and he's been really good with me.
The OSBI agent,
yeah. But he's telling me, Lavonne, there's no evidence that he's dead.
There's no evidence. Has been rumors that he was going to California. He was getting out of there, so there is that possibility. That he is in California. It's just, it's hard to think that with no resources and money and things like that. But it can be done, I guess, if people really want to hide out. We've just found it hard to believe with no social media, and I'm not talking about just like posting. He's not checking his messages. That was usually a big form of communication was a social media, through Messenger, Snapchat. After 6:02 or whatever in the morning after that last phone call, just gone. Nothing. There's nothing.
His Snapchat, you can tell if they open the message, right?
Yeah, you can on Messenger. And I mean,
right.
Yeah, and the phone records. So even to say, he was in the truck and it was in the water. Okay, so the phone, but I mean, I feel like if he was going to run or he needed somewhere to go, he would have reached out somehow, and social media would have been it because he didn't have a phone. I do agree. OSBI is probably the best thing that could have happened to this case.
And I'm glad they took over it soon.
They did take it over real early.
Like it was within a month and a half of that, because the captain couldn't tell me nothing. There was.
I feel like before there was 2 weeks lost. For when last contact was made with him, that Monday, or, him on his cell phone, to when we made the missing report. So there's almost a 2-week gap right there that a lot of things could have happened to, if he did survive it, if it was a drug deal gone bad, whatever the case. So we automatically lost 2 weeks. And so we were just trying to catch up. I mean, it was one of those things. We had no idea about no vehicle being stolen or So, as you said, the only thing that we have, only only thing that we have is if maybe he was in that truck and we have a news article on that. That's it. And what happened. And that's all. And when you do see it's a dash cam from the cop. I mean, he takes out a whole light pole. And I mean, and I do say, I think the cop does say on there that he did flip it and got back going, whoever it was, if it was my brother. So again, there is a chance that nobody did kill him and that maybe he's succumbed to injuries if he was in the truck.
Yeah, and that leads into Kat's comment, because that also kind of lines up with what I was going to say. So Kat's saying you should contact Adventures with Purpose. Now they're a group that does diving and looks for people underwater. But am I right in understanding that the dive team has already confirmed he's not in the water? You're saying he might have ran off into the woods, kind of.
Ran off. Even they thought when the truck was submerged, they thought that it was done purposely, and they ran automatically because there was no footprints of anybody going up the embankment, because there was a steep embankment, anybody actually getting out of the truck after it got into the water. So they were leaning towards that. They purposely threw it in the water. But even so, let's say if that was Nathan and that did happen, again, he turned around and I mean, that was a pretty gnarly chase. And there is a possibility that maybe he did, die in the woods, and we're not getting any answers because he's out there. We are trying to work with Oklahoma Search and Rescue. It is tribal land, so it's
very hard to
get on, and so we're trying to orchestrate that. They did. I know the Mennonites did do a search down that same creek river thing. It is
thinking maybe it floated,
even if his body floated, they were looking for him and actually another missing person, and they found nothing. So it was the water was dived in twice, and then the Mennonites did do a search and kayaks and stuff. So
okay. And Denise McGarity, who is awesome, she co-hosts here all the time. We got to get you on a show soon, Denise. We got to do more shows lately. But she asked, what was the weather? You said it was in the 20s, right?
It was very
cold.
cold.
It was January,
very
winter.
Cold.
So again, it goes back to the possibility of if he did get wet, or if he did, going out in those elements and trying to run. It's
Gordon Cooper Drive, and it's like the golf course on the Indian tribe land where the Indian
casino
and stuff is. It's behind on the golf course, and it belongs to the tribe.
Gordon Cooper Drive is the road where the wreck happened?
Yeah.
Did you say that's publicly available, the footage, or did you say you just... Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a dash cam of when the cop pulled them over and then they went on the high-speed chase.
If you want to send me that link, I can add it to the links in the description when we're done. I can't put it on there now, but when we finish and upload the video, I can add it to the link.
And we also I have a picture too I'll send you of when they pulled the vehicle out, what the damage that was done.
And I'm just kind of iffy with Tecumseh because in the report, it's obvious in the film that the windows were down, and there's no way you could have rolled those windows down during, after it got hit and stuff. They'd have to be already down. But in the police report, Trey Baker puts in there that they were up, and just little stuff like that throws me off. Why would you put that in a report if the windows were obviously down?
What other little things were missed?
Yeah. That's, I just don't have a lot of faith in them.
Speaking of, you say little things can be missed. So Kelly Finello asked, did they do it with sonar and makes a difference?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't think so. But I know that I worked with a lady, her husband was one of the guys that
was on the dive team.
And it is pretty murky down there. And the OSPI agent isn't against of trying to do it again. And I would prefer them to try to dive for a third time with the OSPI's team.
Okay, and you see on, I'm sorry to interrupt, I just want to make sure we get that. So you see right there, support@adventureswithpurpose.com. That is the email to the group they're talking about. They're just a group of divers that help with, they're awesome. I talked to I don't know if I think his name was Jared. I don't know if he's the owner or something. And he's been awesome on email. I've spoken to him. Awesome. So they have an awesome reputation. And see if they'll help, because maybe they didn't do sonar, maybe something could have been missed. You never know. And I apologize for interrupting you today. I just want to make sure I got that in.
No, that's awesome, because I never even. Well, I'm distraught. I don't even. I am just so lost anymore that
it's been hard with no answers, with nothing, with absolutely nothing, and then the horrible rumors and accusations you hear. It's hard. It's hard to deal with. It's and then again have no answers, no closure, no nothing.
Is she okay? Yeah. Take your time, Lavonne. I'm sorry. So sorry.
I think that you know what, in the area that my brother's into, you don't realize until you have a loved one missing, I guess, how many people are actually missing in that area. Even since my brother's been missing, there's been several missing people, and it's crazy how many missing people are out there.
Yeah, it's
and not just that area,
especially
everywhere.
in Potawatomi County.
Pot County is pretty.
Yeah, it's just blows my mind. You have no idea until you're on this. So you're sharing it, and you're sharing your story, and you see how many in the same county is missing. Something isn't right. Something is going on.
I'll tell you, when I started this channel, I remember thinking, I hope I have enough. I hope I can do like a weekly show or something like that. I found out, I think it's something like 700,000. It's some insane number of people that go missing in the country a year. It's insane.
It's insane.
And I remember thinking, oh my God, I thought there weren't going to be enough. I could do 20 shows every day and I wouldn't make a dent in it,
Yeah. It's crazy. And another thing, not having any answers, and then you have two different agencies of law enforcement, one telling you that he's been killed, one saying we don't know if he went to California and if he's still alive, and there's no evidence and nothing to back up that he's been killed, has been the hardest toll, because in these situations, nobody knows what to do. I mean, you reach out to everybody and you're looking to law enforcement to help you. And the way that Tecumseh handled the whole situation, I think, was just wrong. And I don't think that the case has been handled correctly until OSBI got it. And it just makes you wonder what was missed before OSBI got it, and is that the key piece that we need?
I know this is small, but stuff like this really bothered me. His poster, I had flyers out, and it's not cheap to get flyers printed, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of time to get them out there and put them up, and they were getting tore down. And one at Love's Store there in Tecumseh, it's only like 3 blocks from my house. The flyer was tore down, and I wanted to know, was it Nathan? Because the lady called me. I went up there, and Trey Baker was getting the video or whatever of who was doing it. And he had it on his phone. You couldn't really see it. It was ridiculous. But anyway, we looked at it. I said, that's not my son. That's not Nathan. Well, come to find out, it was a dude named Corey Jarvis. And they went and investigated why they had tore it down. And he said, well, I know some people that know him, and was going to show him the flyer. What? That don't make no sense. So you stopped the investigation and talking to these guys when they let you come in their house, and that was the explanation you got? Well, and I just thought it was weird,
Well, the lady at the store contacted my mom and said that when the guy walked up and seen the poster, his face turned white and he pulled it down. She said the look on his face was like
total horror,
and then pulled it down. And so she showed my mom the video at first, and my mom went to go back in there, and Trey Baker, they weren't allowed to because of the manager.
Yeah.
And then Trey, the detective for Tecumseh, had gotten the video footage.
And he told me, go back, meet me at the office. And meet me at the police station.
Ran the tags of the car that they got into, and then went and questioned them.
And what was the result of that interview?
the question, what she said was, why did you tear down the poster? And he was like, oh, because I know him and I was going to show it to people.
That's what
and they just
and they let it go.
And they let it go. They said, well, they were cooperative. They let us come in their house. Wow. Really?
Yeah, that something seems weird.
Something shady with stuff with them. It just doesn't add up to me.
Do you know who that guy is? Did they tell you the information of the license plate and everything?
No, I've heard of the guy. I've looked him up.
How did you find out that was who it was?
He told me.
Okay, yeah.
Trey Baker told me who it was. And these people, these names, this group of people they're
all in the same
group
with drugs and
in fact, still they know some of the people that have come up missing. They're in this group, and I don't know. I just think it's really shady, and I think it's a pretty big deal. Maybe it's me because I'm a mom, and Yeah,
well, you don't want in situations this sensitive. Of course, you got to take note of everything. You don't just.
I was going to say you don't want to leave unturned. I mean, you want to take everything, and unfortunately, everything that we've been dealt has been a runaround, not credible, and horrific stories. I mean,
I get texts that no mother should ever have to read.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a note. I was actually going to talk to you guys about that before we went on, but I kind of took me a little bit extra time to set up my camera. I was going to tell you that happens. So please just expect it and just know that, for example, the first 30 cases I did, I think 12 of them had gotten the same exact text, always saying, "We have your loved one. We want $7,000." So I usually tell people, and it was always fake, of course, but I usually tell people to prepare for that because it's
well. And then OSBI, warned me. He said, "I'm really surprised psychics haven't reached out to you." I had one girl text me not too long ago say, "I know a psychic," and I'm like, "Man, this ain't about all that. I'm not. I'll shut them down real quick because I'm not into any of that stuff." But some of the stories that these people have told me about my son has made it really rough. And it's not that they wanted anything. I reckon I don't know. I don't know why they would, some of them didn't even know my son when telling me this is what I heard, in this little group or whatever. And, I did go to a lot of dope houses watching.
Yeah, I mean,
and
like you say, you gotta
putting up flyers right in front of their deal, and of course they'd get tore down. So then that made me think, why are they getting tore down? Because a lot of them have been tore down throughout the town, and it's a shame because a lot of the businesses will say it's against their policy to put a missing person's flyer up in their business. And I'm just like, are you serious? How are you going to really? This is a missing person, that someone will let you put it up, but we'll take it down within a few days.
Right. Alyssa, I think she's asking because of the whole thing with the truck, just to see if has he ever stolen a vehicle before that? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Only asking, of course.
That's why it wasn't too hard to believe that he did it. What was hard for me to believe is but I don't know what kind of state of mind he was in, how high he was.
Right.
Because
they're not themselves sometimes if they take too long.
Yeah. Well, if you stole this truck, he's pretty smart. He's done some time. He's done some time in prison. Okay. But he's pretty, I couldn't believe that he would stay in the same small town that he stole the truck in and be driving around where this truck got stuck at was a block and a half from the police station.
In Charlotte, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize. I thought you were done. I didn't mean to.
No, I'm good.
I know Charlotte makes a good point. I was going to say, she says that there's a big group of druggies involved here. It seems like that may know something, and one of them's going to break. I can't believe it's been this long, honestly.
Honestly, that's what we've been hoping for. If something did happen or somebody did, if somebody did do that, then we would think that it would start coming to surface.
And eventually get on their conscience.
Or they just need
That's right.
drugs that day and
That's what I pray
they'll do
for.
anything
And
for it.
Somebody gets clean out of this and can't hold back any more secrets. But a lot of people are saying they're scared. They're scared. Why are they scared? Because I got right into this Joey's face. He's a little dude. He's crazy. He's really crazy, but no, I can't see my son being scared of him. I wasn't scared of him. But there's a lot of druggies that are. But I think that just goes to tell me that he has somebody to take care of his business for him. Because he's a little dude.
So I'm going to rephrase this a little differently, but Rose Angelo, I forgot to say it earlier in the chat. She had said something like, there has to be one or two people you know. Has anybody acted differently? I know that there's not one or two people that you know what happened to him because you don't really know anything. But I'll rephrase it. Has there been anyone whose behavior has changed since this has happened, or has treated you differently?
Joey's did right away when my mom, because that's where my brother was last known, was be at Joey's, and my mom was looking for him before she went and made the missing police report. So she would go over there and ask him, and he did say that he hasn't seen my brother since he came over in a stolen truck. And then the next time my mom went over there, he ended up yelling at her and slamming the door in her face.
His kids did act, because my son, we were the only ones that got his kids anything for Christmas and a Christmas card. And I took him a box of food and stuff because this dude is obviously, I mean, these kids were in a bad situation, man, really bad. And I asked the little boy, I think he was 10 or 11. I asked him, I said, have you seen Nate? And his dad walked in about that time and he looked down at the floor. And I kept telling OSBI, you need to question these kids. Seriously, if you can,
My brother was staying over there. He had been staying over there, not just hanging out over there. He had been living there for a couple weeks, a week at least. Him and my mom got into it, and he was staying over there. So it wasn't just that he was hanging out over there. He was living there for, and that's where he would normally go and disappear for a week or two or a week.
But a lot of druggies would hang there. I mean, I went up there when they were going in and out looking for my son, Right.
So, it's when I guess you're dealing with this type of crowd, it's very hard to get anything. And a lot of people are on there saying, when somebody goes to prison, and that's honestly what we're hoping, is that somebody will get caught up and say something. I
just need to know what happened to my son and where he's at. I mean, it's
Donna had asked about like an ex-girlfriend, or is there anyone like that do you think he might try to gain contact with?
I talked with his ex-girlfriend, Andrea.
What did she live? She didn't live in the area. She lives in Tulsa.
Yeah, she lives in Tulsa, and after they split up and stuff,
she was helping with people that she knew that he might be hanging out with, people to ask,
Yeah, she knew some numbers that, maybe ask this one or that one or whatever.
There was Jordan. There was a guy named Jordan Wright.
Yes,
He's
Jordan
the one
Wright.
who said he stole the truck with my brother.
Yeah.
He's also him, and I believe his cousin or niece or something are the ones that also told Tecumseh Police Department that Joey killed my brother. So, I mean, and again, there's been no evidence, no leads, nothing. I mean, I know that they searched Joey's house, they searched his land. There was nothing.
They've done some searches on properties and stuff, but come up with nothing.
Yeah, and Angie Marie, who has a true crime channel, as you see there, go and check her out. She's great too, guys. But she says, is there a reward for information? If not, maybe you can start one, just because some people will talk for a reward.
We haven't got that far yet because I'm going by.
We're working with the OSBI.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be.
So before we do that, we're trying to. 16 months is a long time, but we're trying to weed out all the leads before those kind of leads start coming in. But I mean, I think it's about time to start maybe pushing for that.
He just said he's got more interviews to do, and which brings more interviews when he does interviews and more interviews. And I just have to do something. I'm tired of, and we're getting nowhere, and I need to get this out.
So
And I really appreciate you doing this because it will help more people see this, and maybe somebody will see it and speak up that's in this ring or heard something, know something,
every set of eyes could be the one that knows something. You never know whether a million people see it or 1,000 or two. One, they could be the person who knows something. So I'm going to do everything I can to get it out there. Now, we talked before this about, remaining positive. I told you about 3 or 4 cases that were similar to this, and that everything ended up fine, even though the mother assured me that, no, he definitely would contact me, but for whatever reason, circumstances had happened, and they were either protecting the mother or whatever the reason was that they were out there and not contacting the family. So we're trying to remain positive. We're gonna
absolutely.
We want to pretend he's out there. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's our hope. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
I was telling my mom today, the dreams I have of my brother, it's I run into him and I'm like, Nathan, and he's like, what? Like nothing,
right.
Like nothing's been happening. I'm like, where have you been? Call mom,
Right.
And like that. So that's our biggest hope. I mean,
right.
It's just to have nothing though. It's hard.
Well, that's why I think that what we're going to do, I know you've watched an interview or two, so I just wanted to prepare you guys. This is usually the part where it can get a little emotional, so just to kind of prepare yourself so I don't spring it on you, especially to Lavonne. I do something at the end of every episode so that we can remain positive, or I want you guys to speak directly to him in case he's out there for whatever reason, staying away. Maybe he's in a little trouble and trying to keep you away from it. Whatever it may be, maybe he's trying to clean himself up before he comes back. You never know. Like I say, this has happened in a lot of cases. So I want you to speak directly to him. If you need to take all the time you need, I'm going to go like this and put just you guys on screen, and I'll be quiet, and just take your time, and each of you can say whatever you would like to say. Or you can also speak if there's somebody who knows information, if you want to speak to them to come forward, whatever you would like to do at the time.
Nate, if you're
Take
out,
your time.
please contact us and let us know. If anybody knows anything about my son, please give this family some peace.
Nate, you are so loved and missed. I just want you home. If you know something, please help us bring our brother and mom's son home. This is not easy. What if it was your loved one? What if it was your child, your brother, your sister? If you know something, please speak up. Nate, if you're out there, come home. We're ready for you to come home, man. Mom needs you. We need you home.
Absolutely, guys. I'm sorry, Lavonne. I know that's tough, but I just feel like were he to be watching this, I feel like that's the part that's really, or somebody who knows something, that's what's going to be what, get somebody to take action. So I apologize. I know that can be really hard. But you guys are an amazing advocate for him. Doing a great job.
We've been trying, and I appreciate, we've got people on here giving us resources, and other channels. And I really thank you guys for that. And thank you, Jason, for this is a big help. It's just, in these kind of situations, you just don't know what to do or who to turn to. And
Right.
We've had a lot of great people that have reached out to us and tried to help us. And I appreciate all of you.
Well, we'll end it there because especially I know your mom is having a little tough time. So, and you too, of course. I know how hard this can be. Just to stay in touch with me. Any updates, whether you want me to just blast it out on Facebook, or if there's a big update, you want to do a whole other show, whatever you need, I'm here for you. Just let me know, and keep me updated if anybody contacts you regarding this. I can put, if you if you want, send me your Facebook too. I have your mom's, but I didn't know you were coming on, so I'd send me that. And earlier we were talking. Oh, the video.
The video. Yeah, I'll send the video and the picture of the truck too.
Okay, awesome. And just you did a great job. I don't know if Lavonne's still there. Tell her she did an amazing job. She's an excellent advocate for Nathan. We're going to do everything we can to bring him home. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Our hearts and prayers go with you. We're here for you, and just let's keep in touch and let's try to bring Nathan home.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, guys. So sorry for that. I know I hate doing that part at the end because that's always where people, get really emotional. But at the same time, if somebody's watching and is on the fence, I feel like that's what's going to bring them forward. They're going to say, I got to say something. I can't let this family go through this. So in my eyes, that's the most important part of the interview. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you know anything, please come forward. The link to Lavonne's Facebook is already down there in the description. Once this gets uploaded, I will put Yolanda's Facebook. I didn't know she was going to be on until we started, so that's why I don't have it there yet. And also the link to the video. And just to remind everybody, also the fundraiser for Tabitha Maddox, the link is in there. It's the first link. If you're just joining us and you weren't here at the beginning, Tabitha Maddox is a longtime viewer of the channel. Due to a doctor's mistake, she has had to have her leg amputated due to no fault of her own. And the surgery was today. So this is a GoFundMe that Andy Ferguson helped her start. This is directly Tabitha's GoFundMe. I have nothing to do with it. I'm simply sharing the link. Everything goes directly to Tabitha. So if you can help her out, please, please consider helping. She's a great person who's been very supportive of us, and she's very supportive of tons of true crime channels. So she's always in the chat trying to help whatever family we're interviewing, and she's just a very good person. So the link is in there. Here's her whole story right here. I read some of it earlier, but I'll leave it for you guys to go and check out what's on there. And if you can support, that is the link to do so. So please try to consider that as well. And again, if you know anything, where anything about Nathan, there's no. I usually say this during the interview, and I apologize for missing this out. There's no piece of information too small. No matter what you know, there's no such thing as assuming the family already knows, or this doesn't matter. I'm not going to come forward. They probably already know this, or this isn't that important. Anything that you know, come forward and message it to either Yolanda or Lavonne, or of course the police department. And we actually, I'm sorry, this is the first interview we've done in a few weeks, so I'm a little not on my game right now. Sorry about that. Typically, I do this during the interview before we finish, but let's go back. And the police department information is, give me a second. Tecumseh Police Department, 405-598-2115. And it's case number 2002-150142. So please try to help bring Nathan home, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry. Well, OSBI has taken over thank you, Charlia. So OSBI has taken over, not the Tecumseh Police Department. OSBI, I don't even know what that means. Let me try to get their number, guys. Sorry. If you know something, contact OSBI. I'm guessing that's the Oklahoma State something. OSBI. Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. Okay. Yeah, and their number is 405-848-6724. All right. I don't know their case number. It's not on the flyers, so. But that's who you would contact if you know everybody, if you know anything. All right, guys. So OSBI, not the Tecumseh Police. I mean, I'm sure you can contact Tecumseh too, but try to contact OSBI. That's the best. That would be the best place to contact the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. All right, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for supporting and helping out. Please stay in touch with Lavonne and Yolanda. Share anything you know. Help share the flyers online. You've seen all the pictures. You know what he looks like. Let me go through those one more time before we finish up here. So this is Nathan. Another thing we didn't go over is like tattoos and stuff. Sorry, I'm not on my game today, guys. Oh, and I lost the file. Give me 1 second. Where am I? Let's go over his pictures one last time. And again, if you were thinking of supporting the channel at any time this week, guys, please do not. Please give whatever you were going to give to Tabitha in place of anything for the channel. This week, we want to help support Tabitha. I mean, more than just this week, but do not worry about the channel this week. If you were, there's no obligation to anyone, but if you were going to, please give it to her instead of Nathan, the channel. Okay, so this is Nathan, guys. Please keep your eye out. Keep in mind, it's been over a year, so there's his tattoos and stuff, and maybe he could have gained weight, lost weight, especially if there are drugs involved. Sometimes weight can be lost, particularly. And we don't know if he's homeless, if hair has grown long. Keep all those factors in mind when you're keeping an eye out. You never know how someone can change a lot in 1 year. So just keep that in mind. But this should be enough to get an idea, especially if you're in the area. Charlia, I know you're in the area. And anybody else, please keep an eye out for Nathan, guys. Okay, let's help bring him home to his family. All right, guys, I love this. Thank you so much for supporting and watching. We will end it there. Thank you for watching Jason Heber Live. Please hit subscribe below and set the notification bell to all. And you will be notified every time we go to do a new show. As of right now, we have one coming Friday for Chris Carver. We will be speaking to Alex Carver, his brother. Chris's real name is Michael, but he goes by Chris Carver. So that will be Friday. I'll see you guys then. All right, I love you. And be united. Do our hair. I was just going through my flyers. I didn't see one for Nathan from you guys. Check out Be United, guys. Their links are in the description. They're a great group that helps out. They have a Facebook link and their own website, and they help out with a lot of missing person cases. So please check them out as well. I usually show their flyer in the beginning and mention them, but I couldn't find it. I was looking for it while we were talking. So, all right, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you, if not Friday, I'll see you earlier. I'm sorry, if I don't see you earlier, then I'll see you Friday. That's the next day that we have something scheduled so far. All right, I love you guys. See you soon. Thanks for watching Jason Heber Live.